Principles of design, guidelines or directions for using the elements of design. Balance. The first guideline or principle of design is to make sure you have balance in your room, in any room that you are decorating. That is a sense of equilibrium. When establishing balance, consider visual weight created by size, color, texture, and number of objects. And we'll get into that more later, but balance in your room is very important. There's two types of balance. There's symmetrical, which is achieved by balancing identical objects on either side of a central point. So you have a fireplace, and then you put candle holders on both sides of the mirror. That would be symmetrical balance. Asymmetrical is achieved by placing different objects of equal visual weight on either side of a central point. So here's your symmetrical balance. It creates a quiet, restful feeling. It suggests restraint, orderliness, and formality, and it's also called a formal balance. So symmetrical is also formal balance. And you'll notice you have bookcases on both sides of the window. So your window and your chandelier, your window is going to be your focal point, and then the bookcase is on the other side. And then notice they're designed the exact same way. So they both have the same bases at the bottom and your bookcases and the same decorations. Okay, so that would be called formal. Symmetrical balance, on this one you have identical candlestick plates set on each side of the mantle and the wall-mounted mirror. So the mirror would be, the mirror in the fireplace is what your focal point would be, and then you would have your candlestick here, and then your two plates there. And that is symmetrical balance. Windows draped in identical fabrics flank both sides of the grandfather clock. So your grandfather clock would be your focal point, and then the two windows would be your symmetrical balance or formal balance. Here another example is identical light sconces are placed on both sides of framed pictures. So do you see there's this right here, and then there's these, and then on this side there's the light sconce, and then there's the candles, and then here's the picture. Asymmetrical balance. It creates more interesting arrangements. It suggests informality, and it's also relaxed. Also referred to as informal balance. You see a lot more of this in our homes today than the formal. Formal used to be popular, but now anymore informal or asymmetrical is probably the most popular. Here's an example. A mirror is placed off the center on the mantle. Trays and bottles on either side of the mirror help to balance it out. So for formal or symmetrical balance, you'd have these on this side, and this one has that, and then it has the window or the mirror, and then it has this. So it has a grouping of objects, but they're not the same. Wall hangings of the same visual weight are hung on each side of the plant stand. Chair balances out the fireplace on the other side of the room. So here you have the plant stand, and instead of having this one and then something just like it over here, they have two pictures about the same size and about the same weight. Items on the mantle are arranged using asymmetrical balance. The picture is slightly off-center with large plants on the left is balanced by a group of vases on the right. So here's your main focus on the mantle, and then you have the plant, which takes up a lot of room, and you have the two vases on the other side. Radial balance. Radial balance involves having furnishings or patterns arranged in a circular manner. Radiation creates a sweeping, dramatic circular motion in a room. Let's look at some examples. So radial balance. So your fireworks all grouped together make a circle. This is a square, but it's made like a circle. Rhythm. So in other words, not too many people use circular balance because there's no examples on this PowerPoint that could be shown. Rhythm. Leads the eye from one point to another and creates motion. Types of rhythm. Rhythm by repetition. Rhythm by gradation. Rhythm by radiation position. And rhythm by repetition. Rhythm created by duplicating, repeating shapes, colors, patterns, lines, textures. So this one was done by using lines. Beams in the ceiling are repeated. So you see all the beams right here. The window panes right here are creating repetition. The stripes on the ottoman, which is right here and right here, are repeated. There's stripes on the floor. And then if you're looking at color, you have blue here, you have blue here. She has a vase with blue in it, and if you look over here, there's blue over there. Rhythm by gradation. Rhythm by gradation. Rhythm created by gradual change in size or color. So paint on the wall changes gradually in value. So as you can see here, you have a color, and then it goes lighter, and then lighter, and then back to the color. Rhythm by radiation. Rhythm created by identical objects coming from a central axis. Tall grass radiate from the center of the vase in this bathroom or vanity. So here is the center, and then everything from there goes from that. Rhythm by opposition. Rhythm created by lines at right angles or contrasting colors. Contrasting black and white tiles and the lines intersecting at right angles. So all these, the tile right here would be opposition, because you have the tile here doing something different than the tile here, and here, and here. Rhythm by transition. Rhythm created by curved lines that carry your eye across a straight surface. Window treatments are gently, and so in the picture, it's the window treatments that gently swag down and create a soft rhythm by transition. What type of rhythm? Repetition, gradation, radiation, opposition, or transition. So what type of surface, what type of rhythm would this be? So I would say this would be, what do you guys think? I think what type of rhythm would be repetition, because you have the curtains and you have the lines in the windows. And then you have the fabric here, and you have the fabric here. And it transition with the curtains, but it doesn't like swag. It doesn't carry your eye. So it is repetition. Scale and proportion. Scale relates to the size of a design in relation to the height and width of the area in which it is placed. Proportion relates to the parts of the object and how one part relates to another. So scale is size and proportion is parts. Scale relates to the actual and relative size and visual weight of the design and its components. Furniture and accessories must be in scale to the room. So you can't have a huge room and little pieces of furniture, or you can't have a small room and a large piece of furniture. Proportion, the golden mean, the division of a line or form so that the smaller proportion has the same ratio to the larger as the larger has to the whole. Effective ratios are 2 to 3, 3 to 5, 5 to 8, and 4 to 7, etc. Square is the least pleasing shape. Rectangles are more pleasing, especially with a ratio of 2 to 3. So let's carry on. The creative use of color, texture, pattern, and furniture arrangement can create illusions of properly proportioned space. Scale and proportion, too big, too small, just right. So everything's in proportion, and then they have this massive chair right here. So this chair, massive scale, diminishes everything around it because all you see is this chair. If it was smaller, it would fit in, but the boldness and the height of the chair and the fabric of the chair just makes your eye go right to that. So too small. The chair's light palette attenuates its skinny scale. So right here, it just gets washed out. You don't really see it. The color of it and the size of it, that serves no purpose. Just right. This club chair matches the scale of the sofa. So it's about the same size as the sofa, and it blends in with the curtains. So it blends with the room. It doesn't stand out. This coffee table is too big. It's overscaled for the sofa. It's the same size as the sofa. This coffee table is too small, kind of like Three Bears. Table not only looks out of proportion, it functions poorly as well. The table is, now this one is just right. It's not too small and it's not too big. It's just right. The table is substantial enough to anchor the furniture grouping, yet it leaves room for traffic flow around both ends. Too tall. So now we're looking at end tables. Used as an end table, this wood pedestal towers over the sofa, making the sofa appear small and the pairing awkward. You can't really use it. It's more like a plant stand or something, so you would never put that there. It's too tall. Too short. The lamp would need to be fully stretched to offer good illumination from this low point. So it looks kind of silly because that kind of a lamp, you can stretch it like that, but it's more for design, not for purpose. Just right. The perfect pairing visually and physically is a tabletop that is a couple of inches shorter than the sofa arm. So see how it just reaches it? And you could easily stretch your arm across and use it. Too big. The large scale motif and strong colors of this floral wallpaper overpower the petite powder room as well as the fixtures and furniture in it. So you have this huge flower. That's all you see is the flower. The mirror is washed out, the pedestal is washed out, even those big plants are washed out because of the flowers. Too small. So you can't even tell that this wallpaper has a pattern because the pattern is so small and pale that it almost disappears. I think it looks better than the floral, but still, if you're looking for a pattern on your walls, that's not it. Just right. The narrow contrasting stripe provides the ideal balance for the clean line pedestal sink and oversized pine mirror. So here's the mirror, here's the sink, and the vertical lines go right in there with that. Too big. This rug covers too much of the floor beyond the conversation area to define it as a discrete space. So when you use an area rug, it's to define the area, and this one's, the area rug is too big. Too small. Look at the little rug. Instead of creating intimacy, the rug only increases the appearance of isolation. It just looks silly. Just right. Choose an area rug that is about as long and as wide as the furnishings in the space. You see how it groups this all together. So if there's another chair, the other chair should be about right here. Too little. Did I skip something? Okay. Too little. Too much space between objects makes the candlesticks and the too small frame look lonely, the bare wall yawning above. So in this grouping, you're looking at decorations on the mantle, and it's saying that it has too little because you need more things. This is too small. So if you had something, this is going to be asymmetrical balance or informal balance. And if you had something bigger here, you could do that. But this little thing makes it just wash out. Too much. There's no time to pause to consider any single object, since they are all stepping on one another's toes and jostle for space. So now they have too much stuff. It's just, what do you look at? You look at the picture, and then there. So if you maybe take out an item or two, then it would look better. The weight, this one's just right. The weight now shifted to the left side. Fewer items are needed there for balance. So they put this big urn right here in a small picture. They used only one candle, and then they used one floral arrangement. Too big. So they're saying the picture, there's no breathing room in this R2 sofa match. I don't know what that even means. There's no breathing room in this R2 sofa match. And we're looking at the picture. Start that one over. Too big. There's no breathing room in this, with this picture over this sofa. This picture's too little. The picture is tall enough, but it's roughly matching the height of the sofa, but it ends up looking leggy and lost because it's too skinny in proportion to the sofa's width. So if you're going to put this there, you would add another picture here and maybe another picture here, or you would accent this over here and another picture there. You would have a grouping. Just right. To size a single picture, choose one that's nearly the same height as the sofa and between half and 2/3 its width. Too big. This lamp right here towers above the nearby sofa and chair. It is also several inches taller than the tablet it rests on, or the table it rests on, throwing the balance off there as well. So it's bigger than this table, and it's bigger than the sofa. Too small right here. This little lamp is overwhelmed by the high back sofa and the stocky chair that surrounds it. Just right. For the best fit, an end table lamp should be tall enough to clear the top of the sofa with a little room to spare, yet not so tall that it dwarfs the table it rests on. So this is about proportion to the table, if you look at that. And then here's the top of the table, and if you bring it over, it's just a little bit taller than way taller. Too big. This 5-foot double pendant chandelier overpowers the table. A lot of times when we buy things, we buy them because we like them, not because they fit. So that's something you have to look at when you're purchasing things. Too small. This one little pendant light is too small to adequately light the table. So not only does it look a little lost, but it's not going to provide enough light. Just right. In general, a chandelier's width or diameter should be at least 2 feet narrower than the table length. So right here, you have this, and then it's right here, and there's about a foot here, and about a foot here. And if you look, this looks a lot like the first one, it's just smaller. Proportion to scale. As a group, make a room that is out of proportion scale. Any type of room will work. The more out of proportion, the better. Oh, we're not doing this, guys, so just keep on going. Emphasis. The center or focus of attention and interest within a design. So emphasis is the center or focus of attention and interest within a design. The feature that commands attention and makes a design visually interesting. So if you're looking at this picture, what is the emphasis on? You should be saying the fireplace. Emphasis. Architecture features such as fireplaces or decorative windows are often used as a focal point. Works of art and decorative accessories are often emphasized in a design. So in this picture, your emphasis is going to be right here on this picture. An emphasis is where your eyes are drawn. Ways to create emphasis. You can arrange arrangement of furniture around a focal point. Use of color, texture, or pattern. Placement of accessories and use of lighting creates the emphasis. Guidelines for creating emphasis. The end point of emphasis should command attention, but not dominate the overall design. Other features within the room should not compete for emphasis. So right here, your emphasis is going to be right in here. See how everything, here's the focal point, and everything is drawn toward that focal point. Harmony. There's 2 types of harmony, unity and variety. Unity occurs when all the parts of a home or room are related by one idea. A unified design has a consistency of style. So right here, your unity is the drapes match the chair. And if you look also, there's a lot of pattern unity. You got the color drawn right here, here for the squares. And then you have the shape brought in here, the checkered brought in here and here. Variety. When 2 or more different elements of a design are used to add interest to a design. Variety can be achieved by combining different styles and materials as long as they are compatible. So here, this person wallpapered their cabinets beautiful. And then they brought in the variety over here, the wall cut, the walls, and right here. Harmony is achieved when unity and variety are effectively combined. Carrying variety too far creates confusion. A lack of unity may make a small home seem even smaller.